Hello, welcome. Let's have a look at some of these coins. I've been unable to make videos for you yesterday because in-laws are down and I've had to become a servant really for the last 24 hours. But now let's have a quick look at this, shall we? So first of all, let's have a look at the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I put this descending trend line in. I don't expect this trend line to actually be an effective one, but it's just to show that when we're looking at the daily charts, we do have a bit of a downwards correction taking place. We're actually finding support on these moving averages, which are all converging here. We're at a bit of a crucial moment right now that for a daily chart, what we really need to do is break above here and stay above here, probably around about, if we can stay above, I'd say we need to this candle needs to close tonight around about 11,800 for it to have a decent opportunity to grow over the next week. If we were to close anywhere beneath, I'd say, probably just for safety purposes, 11,000. If we can close beneath 11,000, we're probably going to continue with this downwards correction, slow and incremental. Probably won't find our way all the way back down here, but it would suggest that we do have more to go. If we can break beneath these moving averages here, finding our way down to the high 10,000s. Then I would probably say that we do have some more downwards to go over the next week or maybe more. If we look at the volume is decreasing ever so slightly on Bitcoin, and indicators would suggest that it's got further to fall. So it's no man's land at the moment. I wouldn't trade this right now. It has to make a definitive decision of where it wants to go. If it can break above this trend line and stay above this for the next week, that's great. If it stays beneath it, I'll probably be waiting for this correction to play out. Might even bring us back down to 10,000 again, which would be at this point here. And if we were to get that, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that breaks. If we get back to 10,000, probably find a few bounces on 10,000 because it's a decent psychological number. But the next actual moving average support line here would actually be 9,350. Probably find a bounce around there. But again, if that were to break, our next actual real resistance on the daily here is well, it's way down here. That's very unlikely. It would be there. It'll be around 7,000 or so. That'd be pretty interesting if it does fall down that low. I think if it tried to do that, we'd see so many bounces on the way that it's more than likely going to get picked up because it'll be a very good opportunity for people to buy up. I think it's more than likely going to be trending sideways and a little bit bearish before it finds a decent bounce on recognised support levels. Definitely 10,000, probably even higher. But yeah, sideways action for Bitcoin. So let's have a look at Matic then. So Matic is a very sorry looking chart. We're on the 4 hourly here. What we're doing first of all is looking at the Bitcoin pairing. Bitcoin pairing has shown that we broke out of this downwards trend, but we're creating a new downwards trend of our own. We're moving sideways again, just like Bitcoin's moving sideways. So not really much movement with Matic, but we are kind of battling to get above these moving averages here, which are all very, very tired and facing down quite steeply. Where we go from here, I would suggest that we're probably going to follow whatever Bitcoin is doing, as the volume is extremely low now for Matic, extremely low. We're beneath the 200 EMA, which is also facing downwards. The 50-day close is going sideways, so I would probably say that in this instance we're going to be going sideways as well. Now on the daily chart, everything is going down. We're beneath all moving averages, and the 50-day close is about to start a downwards trend as well, which would suggest that we do have further corrections to play out. Let's have a look at the tether pairing. Tether pairing exactly the same here on the daily, beneath all moving averages, and most of them, other than the 50-day close, facing down. The one thing that could perhaps maybe cause a bump for this, and if the bump were to take place, some of these moving averages should start to recover, and this 50-day close may not find its way back down here, which would be tragic because it would mean all moving averages are facing down, suggesting a downward trend, looking for a new low before there's a bounce. Which is Celr is going to release its mainnet tomorrow, and Matic and Celr have made a partnership, so effectively working together, they should benefit from each other's movements at this point. In actual fact, their prices are almost mimicking each other already. Matic taking a real hit, whereas Celr is actually holding its value a lot better than Matic. So we'll have to see how this one goes, but it doesn't look great. Probably going to come back down to test this low again. If we don't, then we could consider this one a higher low, which would be a good sign, suggesting that there could be a reversal in trend. But we're going to have to see how it plays out. Again, at the moment, not looking great for that coin. BitTorrent token now, so this is one of my favourites actually, the one that I actually feel has probably got the best future in it in the short term out of all these IEOs, and probably a lot of alts in general. So let's first of all, we'll have a look at the Bitcoin pairing. So we've got very low Satoshi value, so each Satoshi increase is well, what are we on, 12 now? So each one of these would be about 6.5% or so move up, so they're actually quite hard to achieve because they're such low values against Bitcoin. So any move up on at this level is actually quite a big achievement for the coin. It's been holding its value with the tether pairing very well despite Bitcoin's movements up and down, up and down. We had a bit of a spike here a few days ago, but a big sell-off ever since. But the good thing is we're now looking on the 4-hourly chart, which does hold it up relatively well. We had a steep rejection from here, but we came up to test that again and we were rejected, but we're holding our value and just above all moving averages actually. What I would say is that we need to break this level of resistance, which is 0.00135. If that breaks, there's a very good chance we'll come up to test this, which is 0.0014, we could say. But BitTorrent Speed is about to be released in, well, it's tomorrow, but it's Eastern time, so I'll probably give it another 36 hours before that's released, and that's certainly going to give it a bit of a boost, and hopefully that boost will move it and keep it above the 0.0014, hopefully come up to test our previous most recent high of 0.001550. The nature of this coin and the resilience it has against Bitcoin's movement would suggest that this should get taken out. This level should get taken out after the release of BitTorrent Speed, and then we'll see where we go from there. Big moves and big corrections, I would expect to see something similar to this, rather than giant leaps upwards. But it is affiliated with Justin Sun, and his coins do make severe moves up and down. He's the king of PR, so we'll see how this one goes. But the chart looks okay. It's holding up okay, and it's not bullish, but it's also not bearish. So I've got good feelings about this one. If we have a look at the indicators would suggest slight movements up for the rest of today. RSI is kind of wiggling around in the middle, but slightly to the up. So I think there's more movement up for the rest of today. Volume is actually very low, but because we've got that release around the corner, I do expect a bit more interest in this. And probably it's been a very decent accumulation zone for this. And actually, on the 4-hourly, we've spent most of our time above the 200 EMA, which is a good sign. We're also above it now, so good things could play out with BitTorrent token. Celr. So Celr again, it's held up reasonably well despite Bitcoin's movements. Had that big boost the other day, last weekend I believe, yeah. But couldn't hold its value. Then there seemed to be a nice another spike here around midweek. Might have been caused by the anticipation of the mainnet release, which is due at some point tomorrow. Within about a 24 to 36 hour period anyway, will be released. That's probably going to give it a bit of a pump as well. But we have been consolidating again, a bit of a downwards trend here. It is definitely bearish in the short term, and this mainnet release will probably give it another bump, but probably it'll be a sell off as a result of that pump. I think this area here has all been accumulation, and on some days higher buys than usual. We are beneath all moving averages actually, and we do look like we still want to come down a fair bit for the rest of today. So all eyes are on Celr for the mainnet release. Let's have a look at the Satoshi values. Satoshi values again is mimicking the tether pairing actually. They do both actually pair up quite well, but unfortunately beneath all moving averages, beneath the 200 EMA. MACD is wiggling around, but suggests a little bump now, but probably going to be coming down still. RSI doesn't really know what it wants to do. It's right in the middle, kind of going sideways. So I expect a bit more sideways action until that mainnet release, and then a pump and probably a dump afterwards. And let's have a look at one. We've not had a look at one in a while, so we're on the 4-hour chart here. So actually one looks actually quite good. It does actually look quite good. Let's go to a lower time frame on the 1 hour. Yeah, one looks like it wants to move a little bit further up. Actually, find our way above the moving averages. RSI is slowly making incremental steps up. The volume's not too bad actually. It's not great, but it's not too bad for a coin of this value anyway. It is being dragged down by Bitcoin, and let's have a look at the tether pairing. So the tether pairing doesn't look that great, to be honest with you. If Bitcoin continues to make sideways trends, it might cause the market cap to redistribute into some of these other coins. I wouldn't say an alt season's around the corner, but if Bitcoin does continue with its sideways action, there might be small bumps in some of these coins. One is affiliated in some way with Matic and Celr, so when we see the pump tomorrow with Celr, we probably will see a pump with one as well, probably causing a pump and another dump actually. We are beneath all moving averages, just finding our way above it now on the 4-hourly. And let's just go down to a lower time frame on the tether pairing. Yeah, so the tether pairing is actually not too bad. The moving averages are beneath us at the moment. We're right at the top of the Bollinger Band. Very small range trading here. The 200 EMA is facing down, which isn't a good sign. So really, it's not. It looks like we're probably going to continue to see sideways and bearish action. But we're going to have to see how the pump and dump plays off and where that dump leaves us as a result of the Celr mainnet release. Now, even though one isn't actually a partner or anything like that, by association, I would expect to see movement simply because it's an IEO coin from the Binance Launchpad, and they do like to move together, with the exception of BitTorrent token actually, who basically does its own thing. So we'll probably see a pump and dump tomorrow after that mainnet release, and at that point we're going to have to see where the low takes us. If we make a lower low, it's obviously not a good sign. The lowest point we've got here is 15, or 1.5. When the pump and dump plays out, if we go beneath that, then it's a very, very bad sign. If we can stay above that, and I'm talking stay above there for several days, we need to see where the correction takes us, and if we can make a higher low as a result of ending that correction. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I do make these videos almost daily, with the exception of yesterday. So if you have your notifications on, you can be the first to have a look at what's been going on with these coins. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Take it easy. Have a nice day.